Let us quietly contemplate on these words. Om. May my speech be fixed in the mind. May my mind be fixed in speech. O self-manifested Atman, do thou manifest thyself unto me. O my mind and speech, may you be fit to reveal unto me the highest knowledge. May I not forget what I have heard. Without forgetting what I have learned, may I be able to study day and night. I will speak the universal truth. I will speak the truth which is all-encompassing. May Brahman protect me. May Brahman protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace. The Sanskrit chant is Om Vang Me Manasi Pratishtita Mano Om Me Vachi Pratishtitam Aviravirma Edi Vedasya Ma'ani Istaha Shrutam Me Ma Prahasi Anenadi Te Naho Ratram Sandadami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Mamavatu Tad Vaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is one of the verses from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. To sum up today's talk in one line, Swami Vivekananda says, expansion is life. Contraction is death. Love is life. Hatred is death. Love expands life, and hatred contracts it. It's well known that human nature is inherently selfish above everything else. There is a level of self-preservation, the instinct to preserve yourself. But there's also something called a personal success. Yeah, I want to triumph over all the others. So life, when it is known, it becomes worth living. And when life is contracted, it becomes hideous. Vedanta says, oh, to make love and life separate, they're always trying to see the unity of things. They find that love and life are actually one thing. Vedanta will always ask you, go and seek the self first. Where is the self? And people have been trying to search the self. Who am I? What am I? Where have I come from? Where am I going? These are the questions we are asked to dwell upon. The Vedanta says, oh, the self is the most known. You're going to search, who am I? Don't you know who you are? Yeah, not in its fullest sense, but the self is known, the Vedanta is saying. That's what Swami Vivekananda says, Vedanta preaches you a known God, not an unknown God, not somewhere in the skies, somewhere hidden. God is a fundamental reality, and that fundamental reality cannot really be hidden. Otherwise, it's not going to be fundamental. It's going to be a secret, something secret and hidden somewhere. It can be. So, this self, it's manifested. And where is this manifestation? Actually, it's life. Your life is how the self has manifested. So, it's not something alien from us, because it has to be part of our consciousness. If we say, oh, the self, the Atman is consciousness itself, and where are we searching for consciousness? Here we are conscious beings. But there's a catch here, Vedanta says. This life of yours, this self of yours has become contracted, as it were. And it has to be expanded. So that's why Swamiji is saying, expansion is life. Expansion is life, expansion, because it's the nature of life to expand. And of course, there's another counter force that, no, I want my lollipop. So humans, you see, life always seeks other life. And we have been ancient travelers, ancient explorers. We have been traveling all over the place. Why do you think we colonized every known environment and conquered it? It's because inherently we want to seek life. And we are only comfortable when this life meets another life. Because of this inherent curiosity, we are now searching for life even in places other than the earth. And it has thrown up a whole new field of people looking for life in other places. It's natural. They are going to seek. Whether you find it, that's a different thing. But the seeking is part of what life is. It will have to seek, it will have to explore, it has to travel. And this has been the long human journey. We want to explore the environment. And every day we are learning new and newer things about our lives and about the environment. We have kind of separated the environment from us. It's part of us. It's more like a kind of an extended part of ourselves. So the moment you start contracting it, and which there's another kind of instinctive reaction. I want to protect myself. Yes, it makes sense for the survival of your body. And the ego knows that. It has to survive. So the natural tendency of the ego is, of course, to focus on itself. Me, 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 me. And that is good, but not good enough. Because there's too much of concentration on the ego, the self, that is the self, is its very death. So when you can expand yourself, the ego can expand itself, that is its real life. So this constant dwelling on me, is its doom. And when you expand your life, what happens is that sense of fear, a sense of kind of weakness goes away. Swamiji says, this is a great fact. Strength is life. Weakness is death. Strength is felicity, life eternal, immortal. Weakness is constant strain and misery. Weakness is death. This is what it is. So when the ego gets contracted, it becomes weak. And it's in its death throes. So Swamiji says, yeah, we are like walking dead. Yeah. He's saying, he only lives who lives for others. The rest are more dead than alive. But then the ego always thinks of its own survival. Yes. And we know that survival of the fittest, that has been the watchword of everything around. All life, it has to survive. Actually, it was Herbert Spencer who coined this survival of the fittest years before Darwin wrote The Origin of Species. And later he became a great proponent of Darwin's social evolution. Darwinism. Yes, the survival of the fittest. And this is what it is. The fittest survives and then reproduces to do something. And we see it in nature. It is true to a great extent, but that's only half the story. The other half of the story is cooperation. All living beings cooperate, and especially human beings. That survival instinct is like a kind of vestigial, you can say, remnant of evolution. It's like that we lost our tail and now we've got a coccyx. No problem. It reminds us the thing was useless, now it's over. So in an enlightened society, an enlightened humanity, this pernicious idea of competing and competition has created this chaos. We have always cooperated, and when we have cooperated, you can find great progress has been made. Even amongst animals and birds, when you find cooperation, they reach to newer heights. In fact, they can survive better when they cooperate. So this is what we see. Swamiji gives a nice, I'll read. Why are we here? We came to sip the honey and we find our hands and feet sticking to it. We are caught, though we came to catch. We came to enjoy, but we are being enjoyed. We came to rule, but we are being ruled over. We came to work, but we are being worked over. We find this comes to every detail of our life. We are being worked by other minds and bodies, of course. And we try to work on their bodies and minds. And then he's saying, we want to enjoy the pleasures of life and they eat into our vitals. We want to get everything from nature. But we find in the long run that nature takes everything from us, depletes us, and cast us aside. This is, so you've got to understand that nature is much more powerful. The external world is much more powerful. And then he gives an example, saying, take a room. If you close all the doors and windows, don't let the air from outside enter, the air within the room will slowly become poisonous. It will become stale, poisonous, and that very stale air is going to make you sick, and then finally it will kill you. When you open the doors and windows, see how you feel. Life should be like this. If you can open the doors and windows of your life, that is real life. There was a young man who had come to Swami Vivekananda. He's been meditating for years and nothing's happening. So Swami Vivekananda asked him, what do you do? Well, I close the doors and windows, turn the lights off, and I meditate. My child is saying, open the doors and windows, turn on the lights, and go outside and see what's happening around. So this is a lesson for us also. We want to close ourselves, and the more we close ourselves, the more we will become sick with our own thoughts and our own actions and our own words. But the moment you are now interacting with this world, not selfishly, then you are as it were opening the doors and windows. This is a life that prospers. And if you have, Swami Vivekananda said, these unselfish people, if you have a handful of them in any society, that society will not have to worry. A handful of, I think we are all more than a handful. But this is the test he has given. And you can see the lives of saints, the lives of common people. What marked them? Oh, their great love and compassion for everybody. They just went out of the way. See the Christ and the Buddhas of the world. What happened to them? Oh, they were taken for a ride, nice ride, and killed in it. They shook the very foundations of humanity by their love. And that is what we keep these pictures. Why? To remind us that this is the ideal. These were the unselfish people. And that is what we pay homage, in a way, to our own real self. Now, a lot of studies on consciousness, so many studies. It makes my head also whirl. And they are so glad about it. This is the new finding, that's a new finding. And they're trying to find consciousness in this and that in the brain. And now we know how it works and how it is the hard problem and the soft problems. And there are softer problems and the harder problems, whatever, all the problems are there. We have solved one, we'll solve the other one. What they want to find is that the body and the senses and the mind and the ego is real and consciousness is its derivative. That's puzzling to the Vedantists. That can never be. Consciousness is fundamental. The body, senses, mind, etc. are its derivatives. They want to keep you as you are and then say, yes, you are conscious. You see, this is we have found consciousness in this brain. Oh, then they find the consciousness somewhere in the gut also. Oh, there's some consciousness here, consciousness. Everywhere it's consciousness. What happened? So Vedanta says that consciousness cannot be a derivative of material processes. It's putting the cart before the horse. Consciousness is fundamental and everything else is the derivative. And if this is true, then consciousness is, as I said, is at the very core of our being. And not only the core of a being, it's in the core of every being. You know, in our order, when we see somebody is putting on nice weight, becoming nice and fat, so we say, expansion is life. Contraction is death. When you tell the guy is losing weight and all, contraction is death. So all over our career, then we will find we are contracting and expanding. So we've taken a perfectly good idea, expansion in life, contraction, and made it kind of material. That is not the idea what Swamiji wanted. The body is under the laws of nature. You cannot transcend it. There are people trying to do all these things. Let them, of course. I should not say anything. There's a doctor here might. We also have a role here. But the bodies are undergoing these various changes, and all bodies. Nobody can try to stop it. You can slow it down with diets and exercises, etc., and all that thing. Right? But it's not going to stop. It has never stopped. For the last billion years, it has never stopped. And you think you are going to stop it. Look at that narcissism. So the body will go. The body is limited. So now we can understand, okay, but that life is expressed in something through this medium. Yes, the self is expressed through this medium. The self, as I said, expresses itself through life, which is the same as love. Whenever you feel love, you are experiencing the self. And if you know what life is, you know the self. The mind is much more freer in the sense of its trammels are less. And what makes the mind contract? Thoughts, of course. These survival thoughts will make that mind, which is expansive, it will make it contract. So once we take these merely survival things, we look out of our self, look around the world, then you're taking away those, you can say, barricades and letting the mind go out. Here, life, I said, is equated with love. And there's another thing, mind also. Wherever you'll find life, you will find mind. There was a time when they thought, oh, these are living things. Now they acknowledge plants are living things. Birds, animals, dogs, cats are living things. Oh yeah, okay. Vedanta said, of course, and there has to be a mind there. You cannot have life without a mind. Anyone who has a pet will tell you, they have a mind. They have a mind of their own. So the mind is directly perceived. Directly in the sense of, yes, it's there. So wherever there's life, there will be mind. That is mind in the sense, it is a conscious entity. Now you can see, okay, there's life here and there's a life there. I can see there's a mind there in this mind. So how many minds and how many bodies are there? Oh, we are now more than 8 billion. Look at us. Oh, terrible. All the natural resources are getting exhausted. We are polluting the planet. Yeah, that is because some people, they decided to put this money above everything. And they went on killing the atmosphere and the environment, etc. So we are paying for it also. So if my body is limited, yes, my love can become unlimited. My mind can become unlimited. This is the expansion of the self. And when you see, there are certain things that you find when love grows, you feel a kind of an identification with everything. If you really feel life, otherwise we just wake up in the morning and go about our things without appreciating this thing that is throbbing within. And then it becomes, sometimes it becomes a burden. It's like you're carrying this burden. When is it going to end? I hope it ends. And it has been the greatest thing there for you. But unfortunately, as I said, we have become so blind to it. Why does it happen? When your life and your ego, etc., are contracted. Shri Ramakrishna says, yes, he says, there is something called a kacha ami and paka ami. So he gives an illustration, the raw eye and the ripe eye. Saying a person gets a mango and quietly eats it and wipes away all the traces. Another person gets a mango and first thing he'll do is he'll go around searching for the mango to be shared. So this is the difference between this eye that's contracted and eye that's expanded. Okay. Now in the Vedanta, they always talk about, oh, you got to unify things. You cannot leave things separate. Everything which is separate, oh, I'll handle that later. No. What they did was first unify everything on the material level, on the mental level, on the life level, on the mind level. They unified it. And then it's saying it's easy to explain things. Now, when we find in the Upanishads, there's one very profound passage. There was a great debate. And it was recorded, I don't know who recorded, but it is there for all times. One of those sublime Upanishads, the entire debate amongst the knowers of Brahman. What do they discuss? The knowers of Brahman, all of them. And one of them was Gargi, the sage Gargi. She also was one of the great debaters. So Yajnavalkya is a champion there. He is one of the greatest of all the knowers of Brahman. So another sage, he asked him, his name was Ushasta, is to identify, he was the son of Chakra. He said, Yajnavalkya, explain to me the Brahman that is immediate and direct, the self within all. Immediate in the sense, immediately, without any mediation of the body, senses, mind. That's immediate and direct. And Yajnavalkya said, this is your self within all. So he says, which is the self within all? And in another passage, you're trying to describe it like, oh, cow has a horns and ears and legs, etc. What is that? Is a description of the self? Then he says, that which breathes through the prana is your self that is within all. That which moves downwards to the apana is your self that is within all. That which pervades to the vyana is your self that is within all. That which goes through the udana is your self that is within all. This is your self that is within all. This is the Atman, the self. It is responsible for all the biological processes. all the physical and the mental processes. This is the self within all. It is direct and immediate. People have been searching for it. What do you have to search for it? It is here. It is direct. It's a direct and immediate. And then Chakra, the son of Chakra, Usasta, he kept silent. And then the other questions. So, what we can take from this is, you don't need to search. And Vedanta has been saying, thou art that, you are that. Where are you going to search for that? It is here, you are that. When you feel life, you feel that consciousness, life is a consciousness. This is yourself. But is that all? Oh, so I'm the self, I can do whatever I want. He's saying, this is your self within all. When you say, this is myself, you will feel the all within your consciousness. Not a separate idea of a self, my body. So, the self is all and within all. Now, this is how Vedanta unifies everything at all levels. You know, the highest experience of Vedanta is, what is the highest experience of Vedanta? That a human being is capable of. They're saying, one who sees all beings in the Atman and the Atman in all beings. This is the highest state. When you see the Atman within all beings and all beings within the Atman. Can you imagine? That is the massive self. The self that is within all transcends all limitations. And then once Sri Ramakrishna was going to pluck a flower, and as he plucked a flower, he saw the sap oozing from that tree. And immediately, like a flash, he sees the entire physical world as the body of God. In Vedanta, the body of God is called Virat. He saw the universal body. And he's saying, and after that, I stopped plucking all flowers. And what did he see? He saw all the flowering plants, etc., are like so many garlands around this universal person, Virat. So physically, yes, the Vedanta, that's what Vedanta is saying. You're going here and there, wait here. It's here. This is the universal body. And like we have a body and we have a few cells here and there. And not only a few, we have plenty of cells and more to spare also. This entire body with its cell is like the universal body of that Virat. And we are like those cells in that. So this is the extended, your expanded self. And Vedanta, again, it goes for further unification. So we are just the body? No, it's saying, okay, we are the mind also, and that life and love, etc. Oh yes. That also is another universal aspect of that universal self. And it is called Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb. It's a totality of all the life and all the minds and all the love and everything. So that is. And then deeper still, that which is unperceived, the cause of This subtle and the physical world, that is called Ishvara. That is the cause. That is God. It's the same entity appearing at 3 levels. When we want to designate this level, it's one entity. So there is one universal self. There are no 2 selves. But what about me? And somebody says, but you are that extended self. No, I don't want that extended self. I like to be here. And then wait for a few more births till you get kicked around like a football, and then you'll kind of, okay, I'm out of this game. So what does this knowledge do? Oh, it takes away all ideas of death and superstitions and narrowness and all these crazy things about survival. It gives you a complete new vision of life. Everything is nothing but my extended self. So Swami Satyamayananda, who later wrote the divine play of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna asked him, what experience what vision do you like to have? No, I don't like to have visions and all that. Then he says, what would you like? See, I want to see Brahman in all beings. So Sri Ramakrishna said, oh, that's a final word in spiritual life. I don't want anything less than that. And Sri Ramakrishna, then he looked at him, yeah, you'll get it. And he did get it, obviously. To see that same Brahman, the self that is within all, in all beings. So these are realization. These are, this is the reality. And somehow this contraction of the self is the illusion. Now you know what's the difference between reality and illusion. People go around and say, oh, the world is unreal, the world is an illusion. Not in that sense. The world is real. The self is real. And that's what. So the Isha Upanishad says, one who sees all beings in the Atman and the Atman in all beings feels no hatred by virtue of that realization. When to the person of realization, all beings becomes their very self, the Atman, then what delusion and what sorrow can there be for the seer of it? Tatra ko mohaka shokam ekatvam. This is a tremendous thing. Then what illusion? What illusions are there for that? For the seer of oneness. It's just that person really sees. Then when will this come to us? It's there. Only we have contracted ourselves. And so we cannot see it. When we start expanding ourselves, when you look beyond our own boundaries and you see, oh, that's the same thing. People are the same everywhere. The only variations and only differences you'll see on the surface. But some days ago, somebody was saying, oh, but then all this, there's a kind of a variation and this, and you got to acknowledge this variation and distinction and differences. Yeah, you can recognize them, but that's a very superficial view of life. That's not what really life is. So at this extended self, this is the self. And what is the nature of the self? It is pure, it is one, it is there forever and ever, it is infinite. What more does anybody want? And in Vedanta, this is the goal of life. Whether you want it or not, this goal will one day have to be reached by all of us. As if we are going towards it, all of us, And as we are going towards it, we find, we need a little more time. Take your time. You're all ancient beings. There's no, people think that I will have to be reborn. Even that is a kind of thing. Life cannot be cut short by death. What is death? It cannot. Because if it could, then it would not be that self that is direct and immediate. It is not possible. Life will go on and on and on and on. So, how do we practice it? When Swami Vivekananda was in London, I think London, there were two gentlemen who had come. They heard his lecture on Vedanta and say, now how do we do this practically? Because that's a question. What do we do? Keep on thinking, meditating. That is one way. But how to do it practically, to bring it up, put it into action. And so the Vedanta, and Swamiji was, what is the ritual to make this oneness a fact in your consciousness? One way is, these, the pujas that we perform here. This is one way. You might be thinking that it's a small kind of ritual. No, it's a very, it's a ritual of cosmic proportions. We will not be aware of it, but it is trying to take this individual, the worshipper, and identify that worshipper with the cosmos. That is one way. But it's not feasible for every one of us to do that. So the teachers of Vedanta and the sages, they said, okay, let's do it another thing. They call it the 5 great sacrifices. Because what happens, life has to, in order to grow, has to sacrifice. That's the nature of life. Life expands through sacrifice. So if you don't sacrifice, it's going to contract. So they understood this dynamics as sacrifice. And we see this happening everywhere that life proliferates. Life expands through sacrifices. And they said there's a 5 great sacrifices you've got to do. So on the highest level, you've got to pay homage to these ideas of Vedanta, etc., by acknowledging the contribution made by all these past sages. The sacrifice, they say, for the rishis. Why? Because they have molded your mind. All minds, etc., are molded by past knowledge. We, as it were, they say, the common saying, we stand on the shoulders of giants. So we stand on the shoulders of giants. All the past contributors to this knowledge, we have to salute them. Then the next is, there are these innumerable gods. People say, oh my God, in Hinduism there are so many gods. Yes, and we want more. There's people, you should lessen the number of, no. We want more. If you get a few million, a billion also, you will be happy. Happier still. It's a kind of chaos. It's a madness. No. We knew the idea that everything has to be suffused with divinity. Everything in this universe. You're seeing, you're touching, you're tasting, you're smelling, your sight, everything has to be the result of divine forces, not just material forces. How much of material things can you be? So, the sun and the moon and the stars and and the forests and the trees, everywhere there are these gods. It is not just animism. That was the ancient human idea of divinity. Everything is animated by that anima, that soul. It has a soul. And then monotheism comes and stops the whole thing. Now we know everything is animated. Only thing we say is animated by the divine. So how many divinities? No, there are not a few billion, 3.3 billion, whatever. It's actually one divinity appearing as the many. And we don't say even one, we say Advaita, not two. So how many gods do you worship? Not two. But you have billions of gods. So that one is appearing as the many gods. So you have to worship all these gods, the many. Okay. Then the third one is interesting. Like our entire human race has been the result of, again, a long series of some successful reproductions. And they have come and they have survived somehow, survived. We acknowledge that also. Because each one of us is a result of millions and billion years of our ancestors living their life. And that is what today our life is a result of all those sacrifices and all that life which survived. So we are a link in a chain. You cannot say, I don't care. Just a link will have no value at all. When it is in the chain, it makes sense. So we have to acknowledge that. And the fourth is to serve every being, whether through kind words or through material things. It's a Manushya Yajna, they say, to serve society and without any distinction. And then the last one is to serve all other lower, not lower, but I've got to use the word, beings other than humans. Look after the environment. Look after all other life. Acknowledge that you are part of a long series of existence. And then the gods and the sages and all. This was, so in India when we were growing up, we had to, before you eat, you had to take one morsel out of that food and keep it outside your plate, and take another morsel, keep it outside your plate, third morsel, keep it. Hey, it's getting over here. Food is diminishing here. But that was part of it. And that was later taken and given to the birds, like an environment, all these things. So this was just symbolic of what you're supposed to do. One morsel for the gods, and one morsel for the sages, and one morsel for the ancestors, one morsel for the living beings, and one morsel for all the birds, etc. And they would take it. This expanded your idea of the self. Now you're connected, the 5 levels, you're connected with the cosmos. Because there are unseen things, unseen forces that are molding us. We are the result of all these unseen and seen forces. And that makes us expand. So this was a daily or an obligatory sacrifice that everyone had to do it every day. Every time you ate. Every time you walked around, went around. This made the self. Now you are no longer confined to yourself, to this body. Oh, this is me. No, this is me. So these ideas of Vedanta have been there thousands of years. It is time. That's the reason why they say it is time for this Vedanta to come to save poor humanity. We had this because nowhere has, in no time, where people has become so self-centered and so contracted than it is now. Though we are expanding at kind of a crazy rate yet, and the result is all the mental problems and all the stress and all the trauma you're facing is because of that contraction. When you expand, what happens? How much? It's like that, oh, expansion is life. The guy is becoming big. No, it's knowledge that expands. And then we can understand that. All those things which, like that air in the room that had become rancid, poisonous, can be made pure by opening the doors and windows. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. We take a few questions here. But as soon as the gate is opened, the water rushes by its own nature. If there is dust and dirt in the way, the water rolls over them. How to map this with our today's talk? This question, Swamiji is talking about a verse, an aphorism in the Yoga Sutras, Yoga aphorisms, saying nature, one species changes into the other by the infilling of nature. So what is the infilling of nature? Say there's a power called evolution, and that is shaping and reshaping us. It's not a gym that is shaping it, it's a power of the power of evolution. And they give an example of, when a farmer wants to bring water into the fields. And in the old days, you had something called, there was these gates that locked the water out. And you open the gates and the water by its very nature flows into the field. So this was the infilling of nature. Okay? And so when you have selfishness, etc., that are like bars to the power of evolution, when this is opened up, then nature will craft you into higher and higher. So how will she craft you now? Nature? Oh, you're a human being. Very good. And now, keep everything open. I'm going to make you into a god. That is what the infilling of nature. Because in the Sankhya philosophy and even in the yoga philosophy, the idea is nature is actually trying to hurry us up and get us out because she has so many other things to do. So she is trying to perfect us and take us out. That's why in the yoga aphorisms and also in the Sankhya aphorisms say that Prakriti, that is nature, Bhoga and Apavaga, she gives you all these experiences and then finally releases you. She's giving you all these experiences in order to release you. So, yeah, nature itself is pushing us. My talk and say how to map this with our today's talk. Yeah, you become unselfish, take the bars out, and then the power of nature will flow through you, and then you will become perfect. So we don't want to to develop into another species, okay? Like we have been evolving from bacteria and all that, and now we don't want any. We had enough of this. So nature will turn us into gods and goddesses, divinity. That is what will happen. Because we live in this world, do we need to keep immune from the risk of engaging in worldly talk right after meditation or being disturbed during sadhana by others? Yes, of course. You need to avoid certain environments and people initially. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of when a plant is young, it needs to be hedged. And when it has grown, that hedge has to be removed. Otherwise, that hedge itself will cramp the growth of the plant. So you have to do that. Once you become a saint, then you can go and embrace everybody, saint, sinner, good, bad, and all. Not before that. You can wait for a while, then you can do that. So worldly talk, if you talk worldly things, and then you will get, problem is always we are trying to put a blame on other things outside. Hey, okay. You need two hands to clap. If you don't put this one right hand to clap, then the other, there will be no clapping. So if you are on that level of worldly talk, then you will expect the world also to be talk. People, when they meet you, they detect what level you are in. Whatever you say, through your body language and certain micro expressions or whatever, but we say in Vedanta, you directly apprehend, that is, contact the person's mind. It's not just, oh, that person micro expressions. These are expressions, these are the scientific terminologies. We directly come and experience the mind. Like we say, we work on minds and other minds work on us. So if there's no worldliness inside you, I'll guarantee you, you will not hear worldly talk. Okay. So first thing is, you do the clean up first. After meditation, forget about talking. You won't feel like talking. If you really had a good meditation, you don't feel like talking. Yeah. You like to be still, quiet, because it has that mood of meditation has to continue for a while. Sri Ramakrishna will say, I've seen people who, after the morning meditation and all, somehow they can keep their minds lofty, but it doesn't till they begin having breakfast. So now you know. When you eat, then the mind comes down. But it's okay, you can take it up again. You're not going to eat all the time because there's the expansion of self. Okay, that's done. We have Wednesdays, this coming Wednesday, Swami Avikarananda will give the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, 7 p.m. And on Thursday, a new book will be taken by Swami Brahmatmananda, Jim, at Tapovan. The new book is The Gospel of the Divine Mother. The reading and discussion, Gospel of the Holy Mother. So it's on, go out to the website please and you can download the link. Friday, Self-Knowledge, Atma Bodha, 7 p.m. here in Seattle. And then Saturday we have a monthly Karma Yoga Seattle here, 10 a.m. Mother's Children at 9:50, and next Sunday is Easter Sunday. That's not the eggs only. Or not the bunnies. We'll talk about the cultural things that have come out, encrusted here. But I'll be speaking on resurrection, the recurrent motive in religion. No, it's not something new that happened. There has been recurrent stories, narratives in scriptures about the resurrection. Sunday again, next Sunday is Ram Nam. Today at 4 p.m. we have this devotional singing group, and also we have a discussion group at 12:30. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.